Yep.
Hi, this is Nicole and Heidi. We are Channel 27. Today we have something special for all of you. Heidi mentioned this in a video she did with Rex on the Leak Project, and we just did a video last night promoting it. This is just a little fun free reading free readings for all the people that have submitted their birth date, their time, and location. So we're going to try to do as many of these as we can. Obviously, we can't fit everyone in that had submitted their information. I will be reading a bit of the astrology charts, but Heidi is mostly going to be looking at the charts. And I've been reading tarot cards for like 16 or 17 years. I don't even know at this point. So I'll be drawing one card, maybe more for each chart. And the card is going to pertain more so to like your present circumstance and what you're going through. So I highly recommend you get a full reading, and we will leave both of our information below for those that are interested. So I will offer tarot card readings, and Heidi will offer the astrology readings. And I do use a bit of astrology in my readings as well. So that is the all the general information we had to explain. And pretty much we're just going to start reading.
Okay. So
Unless
we're gonna
you have
go with
anything else.
chart one, right?
Yep.
We won't say the names. We'll just go with 10/7/1961. Um, this person is a Libra ascendant, but very borderline. So I would say that this person is highly interested in like humanitarian stuff. Could be the Swati. It's all in the nakshatra of Swati. Swati is the blade of grass ruled by Rahu, so it likes to be free. Likes it's very independent. So I'm going to assume you're very independent. And also you have Mars and Mercury together in your first house, and that can make you your speech and your communication and the way you communicate, it can kind of make you a little, maybe you're probably a great salesperson. You can probably speak like nobody's business. You could sell anything, but you could be harsh as well, I would say, because Swati can go either way sometimes. Maybe possibly you had some problems with the mother. Maybe you have something going on with other countries because you have Sun in the 12th. Maybe you were born or you lived in foreign countries or you traveled to foreign countries. We really didn't have time to look at all the dasas and everything, so we're just kind of giving you gists.
Yeah, there is a possibility there for the foreign countries, though, for sure. Or sometimes this can mean that you're like really drawn to spirituality because this is a house that really shows an inclination towards really understanding yourself on that level. So like meditation or ashrams, yoga retreats, stuff like that. So just wherever is like, places of solitude or faraway places, because when we are meditating, that's kind of like this faraway place that we're accessing within ourselves.
Yeah, that's true, very true. Also, I would say that maybe there were some, possibly. I mean, it depends on the dignity here, but Saturn's pretty strong. Maybe there was something with siblings or something with delays with siblings or possible, could be, but not necessarily. Maybe courage, maybe it could be that. So maybe sometimes you just don't feel like you have the courage to do certain things when you easily could do it. And that grows with time, so that improves with time because this is a house of improvement. But it also probably makes you a really good worker, and you actually might like sports, because I've noticed a lot of Capricorns like sports. I've noticed that. Have you noticed that at all?
I have to think about that because I don't have very many Capricorns in my database, actually. Like, it's not the energy that I attract,
Yeah.
you know?
Also, you've got K2 in the fifth, so maybe you had children late, or maybe you didn't have children. I don't know. That's something that would have to be investigated as well. So,
And that can also really show that in a past life, you really were focusing on developing your own creative projects and your own vision with your creativity and your energy, because Rahu is going to be exactly opposite that K2. And Rahu shows that in this lifetime, it's more important to like, or you might even just be drawn to kind of getting out there and working in groups, or broadening yourself and working with greater humanity. So there's maybe more of like a humanitarian aspect to you, because in the chart that I'm reading, because Heidi and I look at charts a little bit differently, I see that Lord of that 11th house of like large groups and organizations in your first house. So that would be probably a pretty strong influence to kind of, you know, get out of just like working by yourself in solitude and get more into working in groups and with others. Do you see confirmation of that, Heidi?
Yeah, for sure. And then moon's in Purva Falguni, and that can be, I've noticed sometimes people that do contracts, I would say,
Yeah.
and sometimes like not matchmakers, but people that are in HR. So possibly that, you know, any type of HR things, or like you're aligning things together and setting things up. You have a chart of a very like business person. So I think, you know, that's what I would say for this.
The ascendant Libra naturally falls in the 7th house of the zodiac, and it is the 7th sign. So that's all about coming together with the other, which is what business is. It's a transaction. It's also the house that shows conception or sex. So it really is like interacting with others and like trade. All
Sex
those kinds
therapist too.
Yeah, it could be that. So that really is strong with
you know, the Mars and Mercury together, sometimes I've noticed actually this could either go to another way within the finance business, like into because sometimes Mars and Mercury together could have to do with like, I don't know, maybe some engineering for, or doing like behind the scenes stuff for maybe something in the financial industry, possibly. Because 11th house, you know, that's a big, great gain. Sometimes I've noticed that. And then Sun in the 12th, that could be for a big organization, multinational company, something like that.
That is cool. And also in the chart I'm looking at too, that is a strong 2nd house. So that's really good for income. So I'd have to, obviously, this is the kind of thing you'd also confirm with other charts, but we should probably move on to the next chart. So should I say the card that she got?
Yep.
And I use this beautiful deck, so I'll show as many as I can, because some have like exposed breasts on them. But she got the Chariot card, and this is a really great card because sometimes it can move or mean like traveling, like actually moving across the country or making a big change in your life, like actually physically. But even when it doesn't necessarily symbolize that, it symbolizes really taking charge of your life, like really getting things under control in your life, managing your life well, and feeling like you have it under control. So it's a very powerful card. It's a card of a lot of energy. So if you have been feeling stuck, this is a great card that shows that you would be really letting that feeling go very quickly, or it's just symbolizing and giving you confirmation that you're like really doing the right things. You're really making the right choices right now that are really in line with, they're really in line with who you are. This is a great card that shows that what you're doing outwardly in the world truly reflects what's going on with you internally, at least at this time in your life, because tarot is really great at seeing kind of the present moment and up to 1 or 2 years from now. So this is a great card. So I'm always happy to share good news.
Well, and she's got Rahu in the 11th. There could be some big gains.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a pretty nice chart for that, but obviously we haven't looked at the Vargas. So
right.
This would be a really good chart to, you know, if you wanted to talk about finances and your career, I feel like that might be a good area of focus for this one.
Okay, so now we're going to go to 11/24/68. This person has a very similar chart to me in a way.
Oh yeah.
I don't know anybody that has this besides me. And you have another little interesting twist to it. So you have Mars and K2, Uranus, Jupiter, and Pluto all in the first house.
You must be...
Man, and I thought I was a pistol, right? I thought I could get mad, but so can you. But also, it also attracts, so first of all, you have K2 in the first. You're always going to have problems in relationships. Then we're going to add on to that Mars. It's going to make it even worse, right? Then Jupiter, it's like you're going to have authority issues with people in, you know, could be teachers, preachers, father figures. I think I did notice that the significator was your father too. So possibly father, spouse, power struggles with all of them. I mean, any probably male figure there's some sort of issue going on there. Now, I will say, and this will make you one hell of an investigator. You're going to love investigating things. You probably love watching police stuff, law enforcement things, all of that, those good things. Relationships are always were a struggle. I mean, that's like the main thing I can say.
Yeah.
Kind of feel lost in life, but like if you listen to any of these other videos that I have, which I think you do because you make comments, everything that I say about me, you probably kind of relate a little bit. But this is all in Hasta, so you're probably really good with your hands. You're really creative. You're really good, at contracts, and I mean, there are a multitude of things. But I would say you have a lot of karma to you. So unfortunately, sometimes when you have stuff like this, you just kind of feel lost a lot. And also you have some stressful things where you probably had a lot of things happen to you. I would say you did not have an easy life growing up and a lot of easy things that happen. And I would be curious to know if something happened if you have a brother, because Mars and Ketu in the first did something like to my brother. So I'm curious to know if you have any issues with your brother. If you have a brother, and if you do you have problems with him, or does he have issues or any problems? That's about all I'm going to say. I would say, but luckily you have this grounded moon that probably just makes you all this bottled up stuff that you are and that you keep in, and you like your space and you like to be alone and you have issues in relationships. Your moon is in Capricorn, so you're a very, grounded individual. You think very practically, and it kind of doesn't control your life. So you're going to think everything in calculative steps, and you're going to be still a hard worker. You're still going to not let it like affect everything in your life. You probably will stick things out when you shouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. So you said a lot about this chart, so I think I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But I did draw a card, and so this seems like a kind of gloomy card. It's the Seven of Pentacles. And I want everyone to be aware that I kind of read this deck very differently just because I've had it for so long. So it might not match like a traditional description you see online. But what I'm feeling for this individual is really that there might be some concern over finances at this time, and like which way to go about bringing material prosperity into their lives. And sometimes I'll use the word finances, but finances also mean whatever it is in our life that we think is valuable or worthy. So there is either an issue with finances or worth or self-worth and finding value in life right now. And really, like, I don't even always get this message with this card, but I kind of am feeling for this person that it's like, you just need to pick one thing to focus on that you're excited about. So if it's about self-worth, like finding one thing you really like about yourself that you just like want to focus on nurturing and taking care of. Or if it's about finances, just picking that one project or that one little thing in your life that you can just like really put some energy towards, because you have like too much going on. And it's time to focus so that you can kind of get out of the doldrums of worry, basically. So it is a positive message, even though this card doesn't look so exciting. It's really like, it's a good message, because you'll easily find a way out if you just find the one thing that you're the most excited about, even if it's a little tiny bit more exciting than the other options that you have. Just pick one, nurture it, and I think you're going to like the results.
Also, your transit's Rahu in the 12th. You're doing a lot of letting go right now. So learn to just let it go, because you can't hold on to it. Because if you try to hold on to it, it's not gonna work. You're cleaning house right now, so it's gonna be stressful. It's gonna be not easy, but you'll feel a lot better by the end of this year, I would say.
Yeah,
I think when the nodes change. So, but in like 6 months.
Yeah, that's a really great point. But then isn't she going to have a nodal return?
No.
Oh, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
That already happened. So you've been dealing with stuff already.
Yeah, of course, because it's retrograde.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right, Heidi. Okay. So now we're on to the next one, 1124.
Yeah, MacDale. That's shit. Sorry. I was going by the screen name. Sorry. I don't know. I guess that's why I didn't read the name, because I didn't get it. All right. So this person has K2 in the first, same as the one we just said, just
Mm-hmm.
alone. So, and you're a Sagittarius, so you're all about digging deep and investigating. I mean, digging deep to research to find the truth. This is a truth seeker, hands down. Like you,
Yeah, like
big time.
researcher kind of guy. Like you're probably like sitting online. If you're not like an actual researcher, you're like sitting online trying to figure things out all the time.
Yeah. And then not only that, but then you have Sun and Mercury in your 12th house of like of secrets, and all. The 12th house is the house of hospitals, jails, imprisonment, confinement, imagination, hidden enemies, foreign countries, lands, foreign business. So that house, you have two planets there. So you may have had lived in another country at some point. You may have traveled to another country at some point and had or you might deal with countries. You might be in the government. You might be do contracts or something like that. It could be, but I will say that you are, and then that's in Scorpio. So that's like just a whole nother researcher, investigator, somebody that maybe works in prisons, jails, stuff like that, or it could be other countries. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what else?
I'll say this person is a very goal oriented person. Like they would definitely be like kind of more of like a long term thinker and planner just because of how your moon is and
Oh yeah,
also your
and a
ascendant.
nourisher. Your moon's you're a nourisher, Pusha. So it's the cow udder. That's the symbol. These people are like really into helping and like. So even though you have some hefty energy, you also are like a helper and you want to nourish people, and it's a good thing. The way you think is in a nice way that just
Okay.
want to help and heal.
I have to say something crazy about this chart.
Okay.
I just opened up my transits and Saturn is literally to the minute. I'm not even making this up. To the minute on your lagna, which is your like the mark of your ascendant. So this is like an extremely important time for this individual. And it
Yeah.
might look different on Heidi's chart, but like that's pretty crazy. It's
Oh,
like
he's gonna have that in my way too, for sure. He's having
yes.
his Sagittarius, like right now you have Saturn in the first house, so it's like you might feel a lot of restraints and you might feel a lot of, but your Saturn's pretty strong. It's just
It can make way for revelations. I knew a guy that had his Saturn going exactly conjunct his lagna, and he actually like called me the next day. And I mean, he could have been making this up, but he was like, I was meditating, and literally God spoke to me. like like I thought God spoke to me. That's how intense it was. So maybe something that we're saying in this reading will really resonate with you because we're reading your chart at this exact moment that it's happening.
your nakshatra too, your ascendant, you might like to collect things, gems, things hidden underground, like a collector. Also, you might have a lot of past life. You could have some past life baggage or past from when you were growing up that's hard for you to let go of. So that's big time because you have K2 in the first too. So it's all about past lives. You're probably obsessed with past lives. You probably love researching past lives and investigating them as well. So you're just a researcher. You would love astrology. You should study it
Yeah.
because you'd probably be really good at it too.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, definitely astrology. Okay, I have a card for this guy. It's
Mm-hmm.
a Five of Wands. I really like this card actually. It's all about, a lot of the times when this card comes up, people are kind of thinking about making a huge change in their lives. Like they know they need to change in some way, but they can't really figure out how, but they feel like it needs to be something crazy and big. But this card is really nice because it's telling you if you can just make a slight shift. So if this is about a job that you're wanting to quit or you want to make a career change, you might not need to change your career per se, but you might want to be in the same industry but change the company that you work for. Or if you own your own business, you might want to keep doing the same business but just change the way you're going about things. So this is all about changing, making slight shifts in the way that you're doing things, and you're going to be in a much better position because of that. So definitely a change is needed. Usually this card comes up in areas of career, but yeah, don't feel like you need to change everything about your life in order for it to improve. Improvements can be made with just slight adjustments that are very logical that you probably already know and are aware of. And I do think like that Saturn in the first could also be kind of making you feel restricted so that you might want to make some changes. So it might be a process.
Yeah, you'll just feel a lot of restraints and a lack of energy, and you'll just feel weird. I'm sorry for the next 2 years. I just had it. It's not fun, but you can grow a lot, you can learn a lot, and you can really, it's transform. You're going to be transforming all over the place. Wherever Saturn is, you're really transforming. And, you know, depending on how your Saturn sits, it can be, you know, stressful or less stressful or worse, more impactful in a positive way than a negative way. So it really depends, but you know, it's all about transformation, big time.
Yeah, we'd have to check the Ashtaka Varga points to see like how badly it's affecting you.
Right.
All right, so our next one.
Next one, we have 11/20/1973.
Oh yeah, I was saying that, or wait, no, this was a different one. But I will say the first thing I want to say about this person is that, at least the way I'm looking at it, you have Venus in your first house, and that usually makes like a really nice, like loving person. Like it brings you like really good qualities. I know someone with Venus in their ascendant, it's just like, they're so nice to be around.
Well, also charismatic, magnetic. People are going to be drawn to you because you have Rahu and Venus there. So people will be like, you're ruled by Venus. So I guarantee you're into like art, fashion, pretty things. You're probably attractive. You're probably into beauty, health, fitness, yoga, meditation, health foods, health things, health everything, because and also Venus, you're also looking to connect with the spiritual realm, because Purvashada, the nakshatra, is all about connecting to a better like a higher purpose. And it doesn't mean just higher purpose. It could be a higher purpose in love, higher purpose with spiritual stuff. It's just, now you have Rahu there, so you can have a bunch of illusions in your entire life. I'm not going to, so you're here to kind of learn about yourself, which you might get into bad relationships with some wrong people, or it's going to just be different things. Your seventh house has Ketu and Saturn. So
yeah, maybe even divorce. Like sometimes this can cause breaks in relationships and things like that. But I feel like, just looking at the date she was born, she probably already went through a lot of this, because Rahu and Ketu enter a period of maturation, and usually after that period of maturation, which I think you would have already gone past, like things get a lot better. So I think
hold on real quick. I just looked at her Navamsha, and she's got Scorpio with Ketu in the first.
Okay,
like, so maybe not. Maybe you're just starting to live. You like to be alone, and it's okay. Like you're going to learn that you're going to get into the wrong relationship. So you just realize it's kind of easier just to be alone. Or if you are in a relationship and you've learned how to make it work, you just know you need your space. So you should like do your own thing sometimes too, because you need to learn how to balance it and make it work. And, you know, you probably experienced so many relationships when you were younger and things were flying all over the place that you just kind of maybe can settle down. Whether it's you settle down, you're like, screw it, I don't want anybody anymore, or you're like, no, I want, you know, it just depends. So this is just at a quick glance. You know, Jupiter in the second, sometimes that can be, you have some issues with money here and there, because you can have issues saving money sometimes, or money can come in a lot, but then it can go out easily too. Also, I'll say, you are very good. Your career may have to do with healing, Reiki, hands, your contract, like it's in Hasta. Hasta is all about your hands. Also, Hasta can be kind of controlling. So maybe in the workforce, no, it's contracts, I think, because it's Mercury maybe too. So, or maybe sales. Maybe you're into sales, or doing something online, or doing something with healing online. But if not, you probably should be, because you do really well with that. So
yeah. This is a really cool chart. So
very interesting chart. Good chart.
I drew a card, and it's interesting because a lot of the things I was picking up on with this chart were like relationship related. But you know, sorry, I want to say more about her chart, but we have to move on. And I got this card, and this card is I can't read it because it's actually in German, but it's like the Prince of Cups. Or the Prince of Swords, excuse me. I can't pronounce it for you. It's like Schwerter. And this is all about letting go of somebody. So right now you're in the process of letting go of a very strong emotional attachment. It likely is a relationship or someone that you've had a deep connection with. And Heidi, you just texted me.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, oh my gosh, did something happen with the video? Okay, anyways, you're letting go of someone, and that's an omen right there. Heidi texting me. So whatever it was, you guys weren't on the same page. They're just like, you weren't making the connection that you needed to. I always think about things that happen during a reading. If a crow flies by, if there's like, an ambulance driving by. So what's happening is that the communication just isn't working the way that it's meant to. You guys are not on the same wavelength. Or you weren't, because this card can sometimes come up when like you're really taking a long time to let go. So this could have been someone even that is from the past that you're still dealing with that whole process of like really actually grieving and letting go and just moving on from this person. And when we looked at your chart, it does make sense that, you might not have had the greatest success in relationships as well, but that's also not true, because when I look at your chart this way, the planet that's in your 7th house has great Digbala. So there are a lot of other things going on. Just looking at this card here, I would say it's time to let go of this person, even if it's a difficult process. It's just too emotional and it's not really very healthy. So yeah, if you want to learn more about your chart, though, definitely end relationships, let us know and we'll help you out. Okay, so we have a lot to go through. I think 5 more. So we're going to kind of go through these a little bit more quickly.
Yeah. All right. So this one is 10/17/1990. This person is a Virgo ascendant with Venus and Mercury and Moon together. So that can be very emotional. Very same thing though, with Venus there and Mercury, you're really good at like people look at you and they're just drawn to you, and you may be really interested in architecture and design and making things pretty, and maybe gems, jewelry, chitras, the shiny things. So you've got Venus there and Mercury. So anything shiny, you could be fashion design. I mean, there's so many things.
And this is the house of expression. So it's all about like really expressing yourself as well. So it could even be like, this is the house that's like about the like speaking and talking to. So it could.
Your sun is in the 2nd, so that's just another. I mean, it's not in the best dignity, but I'll say that maybe you had some issues with your father, power struggles, but you could be a really good speaker, and there can be money that comes in, and it's good for that, but we'd have to really look at all that.
I would say her intelligence would be kind of like that type of intelligence that's just like maybe slow to understand, but you're like highly intelligent, but you're not like rapid fire, like throwing things out there. You take time to take in information and digest it and to express it. Mm-hmm. So, but like very intelligent there.
Yeah. Saturn in the 4th, you might have some struggles with like home, like your home, like you feel like there's restraints in your home and happiness, because it's in this nakshatra of Venus, and Saturn and Venus they're not really good together. So sometimes you could just feel a void there maybe a little bit, or you feel like there's some restrictions or restraints in like materialistic things that make you happy, or anything that's like above the means. And then also maybe you have you're probably very, very, very good at communicating, but maybe there's some issues with children, because you either might have, I've seen it both ways. You have a ton of children, you might not have children, and you want children really bad, or you don't want children at all. Sometimes people with Rahu in this 5th don't want them at all, but maybe, you're just interested in helping humanitarian stuff, but what else? I think that's it for this one right now.
Yeah, this one I feel like it would take me a while to get into.
I agree.
It's like it's not like a complicated, but it is kind of complicated.
There's a lot of things, like there's a lot of split up houses where the nakshatras are going into both. So it's that this one needs to be investigated more.
Yes, it does. And it's really interesting because the card that I got for this chart actually feels like this chart. And it's the Wheel of Fortune, which I actually like this card, but what you're going through in your life right now, maybe we should pull up the transits to see and kind of confirm.
Yeah, you know what? Because Uttara Falguni too, that's your ascendant. That can be like, that's the laying on the hammock, and you just kind of feel like you don't really, it's, it can be like a darker side. You're probably really good at art too, maybe artistic stuff. But
Right.
it's kind of like you just don't really feel, it can want somebody that wants something to come into them pretty easily. And it's also about karma. So it could be sometimes good karma or bad karma, but sometimes you have to work with you have to go to work and do things yourself. It's not like somebody you may have to physically work, right? And go to work. So
Yeah, perfect.
transits are.
Yeah, I was just looking, her Saturn's just crossing over her fourth cusp right now, but I'll leave that for a second, and I'll just say what this card really means for you right now is that things are really up in the air in your life. There's going to be a lot of like cliffhangers, unanswered questions for you, maybe not really knowing which direction you're headed. This card is beautiful because if you kind of look at it, there's a guy, and then there's this round, almost like clock-like image with a dot, and there's Jupiter over here. So it's like this person's waiting for this dot to align with Jupiter. And that clock is like this thing that looks like a clock is representing timing. So what I always recommend when people get this card is, good things are coming. It's just that you really need to exercise patience at this time, because the more patient you can be, the more fortune or Jupiter you'll be able to have access to. So I know that things right now might be not feeling like comfortable because they're up in the air, but just be patient, be hopeful, and things will change. And the Wheel of Fortune is always change. That's kind of like destiny. It's fated to happen. So, just relax a little bit.
Could have some health things going on too. So, and it could be just like on things that nobody can figure out because it's K2 in the 6th. So, and you're just might be doing a lot of like letting go too. So,
yeah. All right. Let's get to this next person.
This is 4/14/78.
Oh, and this one is another nice one. And I don't know if your chart shows this, Heidi, but another Venus in the ascendant. So that, like we were saying before, makes you like so nice. And it's such a nice Venus. And when you have a nice Venus, you truly understand give and take in relationships. Like you'd be the kind of person where if you're preparing dinner and you're plating the food for other people, you'll give yourself the smaller portion just so that everyone else.
Nice. I was going to say too nice. And
everyone else
all over.
Yeah. But this person's probably also very beautiful. It's Venus in that first, and in the way that I'm looking at it, it's in its own house. So that's like, you as a human being are just beautiful.
But you also have the sun there in my way. So I'm going to say that sometimes that can be there's going to be, when you have the sun and Mercury, Venus together, it can be like ego problems. And also you're an Aries. So Aries are like, they just want to go, 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 go. So, and possibly maybe you're just sometimes very like, you like your space because you have K2 in the 12th and you really like your own thing, and you probably like to be alone and you like to do your own thing, but you can be very critical too with this stuff. You're probably into like the secrets of the world. It's with Mercury. So, there could have been some things that have happened to you growing up, or, you might have sometimes, you would be a great astrologer. K2 and Mercury together, I think, can be really good with astrology sometimes. But, I would say that you're going to put yourself, you're like a go-getter. You just full force go in. And the Venus part, that's the part that's kind of restrained a little bit, I'd say. If anything, but it's one of your strongest planets. So you might just feel like, that the pretty side of Venus just sometimes, gets, maybe it's relationships. This is a chart we'd have to really look into too, I would say. It's not like, maybe some health things that's kind of, they could come and go. Especially when you have Sun and Venus together in the first. Maybe you had children late. If you did have children.
Yeah, this is a really cool chart.
Yeah, it is for sure. And your Mercury is in Revati, so I mean, you have a mystical, spiritual side, very intuitive, very intuitive. And a Sweeney, Sons and a Sweeney, that's all about like spiritual stuff and, you know, healing. You're very into that kind of stuff as well.
It's a great sun. I'm going to try to see what else is going on with it, but for the most part, it's a really great sun, from what I can see, which really puts you in line with being able to co-create with the universe and really use your creative potential. And that doesn't mean that you're like an artist necessarily, but it does mean that you can be consistent and you can make things in the world. You can like create within your world. I'm trying to think of an example, but
you're just very creative. But
yeah, like, but not,
it's done behind the scenes.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And Heidi's correct. So you're just going to be able to be this like consistent person and have like this goodness to you because of that nice sun. Sun is one of the best planets to have strong.
You probably like music.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to hear feedback about this chart because it's a really cool chart. All right. I did draw a card for this person and I see this love, Prince of Cups. So I do think love is going to be entering your life. If you are with someone, your relationship is going to start entering into a period where there's like a lot of new love between the both of you. Or if you are single, then you would be meeting someone that you can truly connect with emotionally. But I'm also kind of getting a secondary feeling with this card that it could possibly not even be about relationships, but I think you're going to discover something that you truly love to do that's going to be coming into your life. And I'm wondering if it is astrology. You see anything happening in her transits? Because I feel like something new is going to enter in. Okay, well, Saturn just went over. Saturn is in basically like the 8th house this way. But anyways, it's going to be something new that comes into your life that brings so much love that you really love or enjoy doing. And it definitely could be a human being, but it could also be something else that comes in that's just really exciting for you. That will make you happy. And
you're a really good writer too. Jupiter in the 3rd in Ardra, and it could be like software, right? I mean, it could be like you could be into software IT field too. So it could be you're just really smart. Mercury and K2 can just be like the smartest researcher. You could be a researcher.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out. I feel like she's gonna write back to us about this one.
Yeah, this was kind of all over the place, but
okay,
it's good when we're just going on the fly that we have two of us here to kind of bounce back and forth. That's why this is so good.
Yeah, and we're gonna we have 3 more, so we're just gonna fly through these.
Okay, well, this one I think I already gave her a reading, so you just pull a card for her.
Okay, cool. And I'll see if I see anything like super interesting I need to mention with her chart.
Yeah, so she's awesome, this person. She was
great. And so she's 11/20/1972, just so that she knows we're talking about her, because I don't even think we said anything.
I know, sorry. That's what I was doing. I was pulling up her chart. I was like, this chart looks awfully familiar. I was checking it.
That is funny. Actually, she has one thing similar to me my way. She probably thinks about money a lot. Like, not like in the way where it's like, I'm not like, oh, I need to make a bunch of money, but especially like in times of financial struggle, like I would just be so focused on money. Like I would not eat just because I didn't want to like have to ask for money from people. Like that's the kind of thing. So there could be a little bit of that, but maybe not as severe as what I have.
Yeah, she's like she does. I'll tell you about that later because it'd be a good one for you to see. All right, next.
Oh wait, no, I have to read her card. I'm just shuffling.
Hang on.
Sorry, it's taking a while for this card to pull up for her.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. I think it's this one. Well, actually, yeah. Okay. So the 6 of Swords. This is a cool card too. A lot of the times it can indicate travel. So like I would not be surprised if you're going to be taking a vacation or some kind of a trip soon. But since we don't really always live in a world where we can just travel whenever we want to, more so this card means that it's time to kind of leave the past behind, leave your baggage behind, and move onward and forward into better times. So like basically the worst is behind you, and you kind of need to leave the past in the past, because if you are trying to like bring all this baggage with you on your journey forward, it's just going to make things much more difficult. So yeah, just know that there are blue skies ahead. There are really nice things coming up for you. So keep moving forward and leave the past where it is. And if it's not because you're leaving a situation, like I'm mentioning, then travel is going to be a really important part of your near future. So if you can take a trip, I would definitely take one. All right.
All right, next one since 1981.
All right.
2358.
Now, I want to just bring up something that I keep seeing in almost every single one of these charts.
What?
And this is the way I look at charts, that a lot of people have a 612 axis with their Rahu and Ketu. So this means that a lot of people here are like super into discovering themselves or working on like their spirituality, and or they're like really into that kind of stuff.
Truth seekers.
I mean, I'm trying to give you the most simplified version of this, but I think it's a really cool thing that we see patterns every time we do this kind of stuff.
Every time. All right, so this person, I said 6/19/81, right? Is that what I gave you?
Yep.
Okay. This is a Aquarius ascendant, nakshatra Satabisha, that's a healer. But this person can have secrets because it goes into the 8th house. So you could have some addictions, addiction problems, and possibly, maybe not, but there is a chance that, you know, it could have to do with addictions or drinking or secret stuff. Now, you're also a really good healer. You're probably really interested in healing, and you're probably interested in music and, you know, just anything like that. And sometimes healing is healing people with music, I've noticed. Also, your moon's but the way you think is very, it's in the nakshatra of Uttarashada. It's Capricorn. It's in the 12th house. Wonder if you're in like the medical field or do anything with medicine, or possibly. We'd have to look at that. But music. I don't know why I keep saying music, but there's Sun, Mercury, and Venus in the 5th too. So possibly, you know, 5th house.
So 5th house is like creativity. It could even be like the study of the Vedic scriptures and things like that. But it is like a pretty creative house. It is the house of romance.
Yeah.
It's a nice
But
one.
it's like you've got your Mercury and Ardra, so this also could be somebody that's like, once again, IT, software, technology. You're bringing a change through transformation. Maybe you're an artist, and that's definitely a possibility as well. Or just you're good at, well, the 5th house is speculative business. So Sun, Mercury, and Venus together, that could be somebody that's really good at, that handles all this stuff. So because Venus can be money too, I've noticed sometimes. Sun, Mercury together. Possibly you're in some sort of business, but you are here, you're living a moksha life, letting go. So you're going to let go of a lot of things in this life. And your moon is with K2. So a lot of times you'll feel probably like nothing really bothers you in a way. And it's like, you feel like a lack of emotion, and maybe even with your mother. You might have been close with her, but maybe you felt like a void. There was a void of your mother, possibly, maybe, and maybe some father things, or maybe some mother things that I would say it could be. But you have to really be careful of escapism and addictions. I think that could be one of your struggles, possibly. And if not, then you really controlled yourself. You're the type of person you don't want to take drugs or do drugs ever, because it will have like reverse effects. Anytime I've noticed when K2 has the moon together, like they'll try to give you depressants, and it will make you like 15 times more depressed. So you want to like stay off of those and try to do maybe alternative things that, I mean, even if it ends up being, because you're probably very intuitive and spiritual, you know, those could be things that help you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. That
Okay.
makes a lot of sense. So I drew a card. It's the Five of Swords. Again, this isn't like one of the nicest cards to get, but there's always like a positive, helpful meaning to it. So I would just say that you're in a situation where like nothing is really truly working out. It could even be like within a relationship specifically. I'm going to pull up your transits just to see if I see something specific. And do you want to just check, Heidi, if you see something?
Gosh, I wish I knew tarot. That's like the extra kick, like the last kick, that you
Yeah.
put in to see.
Okay, yeah, I think it's relationships because Rahu's literally on top of your seventh house cusp. So honestly, when Rahu is influencing your seventh house cusp like that, it could even be a business partnership. Like, and you get this card, it's like sometimes you just have to admit defeat. You just have to say, like, this didn't work out. Things didn't turn out the way that I wanted. I tried and I tried, but literally it didn't work. It was like a war zone. And when there is a true war zone, like there is nothing left. There is no life there. And so this is all about you coming to terms with the end of whatever that was that happened. At the exact same time, because Rahu's on your seventh cusp, you pretty much have Ketu almost exact your ascendant line. So this is a big time of just like letting go. And this is part of the process of letting go is to recognize, okay, sometimes things just don't work and you can't just sit there and try to make them work. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just say, I did what I could and now I need to move on. And as this is showing like you're in a war zone, you can move on to a place where there's actually life and where the buildings are intact and where you can actually truly live. So yeah, it would be really cool to do a full reading for you.
So you think this could be divorce situation too? Because Jupiter is in the 8th and then 7th is Rahu and maybe that somebody had an affair.
And I'm seeing
cheated.
I see Venus opposite Saturn. I think that's Saturn there. Or wait, no, that's Jupiter. I can't. Oh, that's the sun. Okay, never mind. I can't always read these transits, but yeah, it could be something. Saturn is pretty much crossing over. Oh no, that's something different. So I don't know. It could possibly be, but it's definitely related to something business, relationships, or partnerships. That's something I can say for certain without like digging too deeply and confusing everyone.
Yeah, this chart would have to be investigated because
but yeah,
a lot of when you have heavy duty K2 energy and Rahu and going on, and you have to really like you can't just do these on the fly. So, and everybody here kind of does.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Everybody here has some heavy Rahu K2, but we tend to get people with heavy Rahu K2.
Always, yeah. So, and this would be definitely a situation that would be like perfect for a tarot card reading because you can really like see what's going on and what's ahead, and it's really nice. That would be nice to read on. Okay, so we're at our last chart for the night.
Okay, so this is 12/6/82, 1906.
Okay, so we have another. We have another
Rahu. Now this person. Let me start this one out. This is in the nakshatra of Purnavasu, your ascendant. So that's somebody that's, kind of just so you're a Gemini ascendant. You're very good. You kind of fly by the seat of your pants. You put your hands in different pots. You just want to create, invent, fix, do things. Rahu in the first can make you have an addictive personality. It's an Ardra. When you go into a bar, I would not want to get into a fight with you if you were drinking. Let's just say that, because it can be somebody that's just, Ardra is the destroyer, the destructor, and your Rahu's in this.
Yeah.
So maybe people see you this way too, every once in a while. So you got to make sure you got to keep that kind of calm.
But the dispositor is nice. So I think you're going to try to use it more for good, like learning about yourself and like spending a lot of time getting to know yourself more so than like being crazy.
And then you'll be in relationships with people probably that think you're doing things wrong, or maybe that have had troubled pasts because you have K2 and Mercury there. So, and actually you may not even want to get married. You might be like, I don't even want to get married or stuff, or you just end up dating people that are married to people, or you're drawn to people that are kind of like had troubled childhoods or troubled pasts. And it can be, and then the relationships can be tough. I mean, you could be attracted to foreign people. everybody that here also could have foreign people in their life, actually, because they're Rahu Ketus.
Right.
I forgot about that. Everybody here.
That is really cool.
But also your spouse, or you could be like an investigator, be very interested in investigating. I mean, your moon is in Purval Falguni, so that's, that's all about contracts, relationships, mixed relationships too. So really wouldn't surprise me if you had a spouse or a girlfriend, if you were attracted to foreign people. If you have kids, you might have kids later. It might be harder to have kids. It might just come later in life.
Mm-hmm. The way that I have it is with the way that the moon is sitting, the way that Rahu is sitting, I do think that there's going to be this feeling like at times like that you don't really fit in, or you kind of feel isolated or alone with like who you are, like finding it difficult maybe to even like relate to other people. Rahu does that, and the way that your moon does that. But it's just part of like who you are rather than like a problem. You're just kind of like you feel different, even if like other people don't think you're different.
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing. Actually, I have a lot of friends that are like that. So I could probably be your friend.
I will say too, I mean, your son, there could have been some issues with father and home life growing up, upbringing, and stuff like that, possibly. We're trying not to get too negative. We're saying positive things today. So
yeah, there's nothing too crazy here. This is all good.
Yeah.
But I like how we get all these Rahu Ketu people, because we're like Rahu Ketu people.
And you're ruled by Venus, so.
And I feel like every chart that we've looked at has Mula Nakshatra.
Yeah, I swear it's crazy. Everyone has Mula, I get so many of the same patterns. It's kind of crazy.
I also want to say that the way I'm looking at your chart, you have a very strong Mars that's placed in your house of relationships. So you could have you could tend to be the one that's like a little bit more overpowering in relationships. Like you'd be like kind of the dominant one, but you also have K2 there. So that would maybe restrain it a little bit, but it's just something to pay attention to, that usually when a person has a really strong Mars, they can easily like be the dominant one or overpower the other person.
I'd say you have that in you a lot, because you have it in your 8th house with me. So that can be, sometimes you can get you in trouble. I mean, where your aggression and your willpower, and it can be secretive too. So can be some secrets going on with that. But your Mars is a strong house, but I would say that the 8th house is addictions, and it's a secretive house. It's addictions. You could be a spy for all we know. It's like, so it's not. Or you could be like an IT spy, but it's can be a dark side to that.
So yeah, we need to get some feedback from this guy. 12/6/1982. I have 2 cards for him, and then I think we'll wrap it up, right?
Yep.
Okay, honestly, these are awesome cards. I pulled 2 just because they fell out. So we have the 10 of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. The 10 of Cups oftentimes means a lot of emotional happiness, like basically the peak emotional feeling that you can feel. It does come with a little bit of work, but it's like very well rewarded for the work that you put in. But sometimes in this deck, the 10 of Cups also shows like financial prosperity coming in as well. So I don't know. I tried looking at your transits a little bit, seeing how they kind of line up, but really this is just about finding financial stability. Jupiter is, the way I'm looking at your chart, Jupiter is entering into your 4th house. 4 resonates actually with stability. It is the number that represents basically being stable, and the 4th house in astrology is being like emotionally stable. So if you have an afflicted 4th house, you'd be emotionally unstable. So Jupiter gives, and Jupiter represents wealth. So I do think that you're coming into a period of financial security, which is the 4 of Pentacles. And this could also be like you know, it could even be like more money than most people would need to feel secure, because I'm also getting this like really happy 10 of Cups card. So it's a really nice time for you. I think you should really enjoy this Jupiter transit, which will be going on until, I think, doesn't this go on until the end of August or something like that?
Yeah, every Gemini that I know is having really good success in work too. Like they're just having really good, the business is coming in, or maybe you're working more, but it's a positive time, I would say. Maybe
And
getting some success.
with this position, Jupiter is opposite your 10th house of career. And I mean, the 10th house doesn't necessarily mean career, but it's literally like the most recognition or the highest height that you can reach in life. So it's going to support that as much as it possibly can. So this is a nice time for you. I would just say really enjoy it, and build a firm foundation so that, you know, things will, you know, you can just enjoy things for the greater future. I got distracted because you will be having a Jupiter crossing over your 5th house or 5th cusp transit. And that I had that, and Jupiter going over your 5th cusp transit is like so awesome. I'm a creative person, and when that happened to me, I wrote so much music, like a maniac. So this is a nice time.
Now, I will say your Jupiter, though, is your GK, so it can cause you some things.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think it is in this chart for me, so
yeah, it can. I think in my opinion too. I will say that you are very creative, though. Now that writing you're also good with your hands. You're like real good at skills, doing things, fixing things, I would say. This is, you should be in limelight.
Yeah, even this way, like it could bring some health things, but Jupiter is a nice planet, so it shouldn't be, even if it is, you know, there's a negative thing here and there. Overall, I feel good about it. So we tried to do as many people as we could, and I know we didn't do this live, but
we couldn't figure it out. It was just,
it's a process.
It is. We're still learning, so
thank you for your patience.
Hope we helped, and we're going to try to do this, maybe once a month or something, just to so people can get a little taste of what's going on in their lives, and hopefully they will help. So
yeah, and then you can both or that doesn't make sense. You can understand how astrology works and how tarot cards work. I study both. Tarot is amazing if you don't know your exact birth time, or if you want to understand things that are happening now and get really accurate predictions from the future. Astrology is great for predictions. It just takes a lot longer to be able to predict things. And there aren't many astrologers that are like super, super, super accurate with predicting the future. For some reason, maybe Heidi has a different opinion, but for some reason I feel like tarot can just like quickly give you an answer.
I have to agree with you on that. Yeah. And with me, because I've had readings from every astrologer I think known to man, and it's really hard because you sit there and wait for something. And we can give you maybes, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, but like before I give somebody a reading, I do an hour prior of research. So
yeah,
you have to, people have to understand, when we're sitting here, we just pulled them up, just gave the birthdays, and we're rambling. So, it's like, and that's, we both have jobs. It's really why, it's really hard to give you all the information. We just want to give you something so you can see it and experience it. And I know when we do the shows there and you don't get picked, I know that's it sucks. So we wanted to do something here, and but it's a lot of time to put into reading somebody's chart. And right. The tarot is great though, awesome for Zoom. I call Nicole all the time. I'm like, hey, can you pull these cards? Pull my cards. I got to figure something out today. And it's real, and it's always right. So but the transits are so, well, it could go this way or 1,000 other different ways.
Yeah, so I always use the transits to confirm what I'm seeing in the cards, and it's so creepy. And I've also started to use this card system called Cards of Truth, taught by Ernst Wilhelm, who is an amazing teacher that I know Heidi has taken courses from and still studies from as well. I do a 12-month spread, so I can literally time the things that I'm seeing in the reading using the card system and verify it with astrology too. So if you don't have a birth time, or if you really want to ask a bunch of questions and know like what's going on, do the tarot card reading for more of like the personality sort of assessment and things like that. That's definitely like Heidi's strength, to really know like what you'd be good at with like career and things like that too. So they're just
Well, and I will say one thing too that I do is when I don't sit there behind a crystal ball. You've seen the videos, and I sit here behind software data and analyze planets. So what I do with people is I have like the gist of their chart, and I really just, as the more they tell me, the more I can add. It's like, okay, so if this was a good time, I'll research into that. Like that was a good time. Then I'll know that will help me pinpoint things. So it's not like, astrology is, and I didn't believe astrology. So, I mean, that's until I found this. This is like science and translation. So it's a lot different. We're not sitting here behind like those magic balls, like whipping up spells. So really it's the more, it is so powerful, and it's such a great tool because you can be in control of your life, and you can know when certain things are going to happen because it's certain energy that's going to affect you certain ways. And it really is a great tool. But, the more you tell us, and when you book a reading with us, or it's more like, all right, we talk. Like that's why I call myself a life coach, because it's not really astrology, it's coaching. And when you get off the phone, you're not like, oh, I expect this, 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 and this. It's more like you just know the energy, you know what you're up against, and you know what some things that you probably were sitting inside of you that you wanted to do, that you thought of, but you thought maybe you were crazy, or things that are just gifts. And then just to forgive people, that if you have some bad karma in your chart, trust me, that's what the best thing. And to all of these people right here have some rough karmic charts. So we didn't really get into it too much, but charts like me, charts like Nicole, 12th and 1st. I mean, we saw it, right? We saw how many 12th houses, how many first houses, and like, that's a lot. Sometimes when you have all that baggage that you just deal with, it's just when a stranger tells you stuff that you're like, wow, how do they know that? And then you're like, okay, there's a reason why. Because I used to just ask why this happened. So
yeah, so we would love to hear any feedback that you have. If you do have questions for us, it's actually best if you post them below, because other people might have the same questions, and then we can just answer them. And so it's a public answer. Everyone can learn. You can access my booking calendar at www.nicolebrenny.com. It's very easy to find, and email me at hi@nicolebrenny.com. Heidi is really simple website address to remember, oneofakindbyheidi.org. And then what's your email address? It's Heidi, or oneofakindbyheidi@gmail.com, right?
no, it's God.
We'll post it. We're going to post it
It'll
all
be under there. If you just go to my website and hit submit it goes right to my email. So.
And I have to promote my YouTube channel. I actually do my own YouTube channel, which I'm going to have Heidi do some collaborations on, called Listen to the Stars. And I'm going to be interviewing some like really cool astrologers, and I do tarot stuff on there too. So subscribe to that, subscribe to this, and click on the bell, because we're going to be doing live videos. And if you don't click on the bell, you don't get the notification when we're live. So it's pretty much the only way to like get access to these like free live events, and to be the first one there and to be picked. So once we figure that out, you're going to have to be able to do that.
And also Jenny from the Leak Project, we're going to be doing a show soon. So she's more of the mindset with me, with politics, with that kind of fun stuff, the more conspiracy things. So we're going to do a show soon too, and that'll be fun. So I know a lot of people will follow the Leak Project, so they've seen her. And we're all intertwined. She's the same ascendant as Nicole. It's kind of funny. We all have the same, and it's Pisces Revati energy. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah. We did her chart too. So
yep, I remember that. Okay, so we're gonna get off of here. It was so nice to read all of your charts and to pull cards. The energy was really flowing. Like, I think that the messages that we gave were probably pretty much needed or something, because it went really smoothly. So thanks for sending those in, and we really hope that we get to read for more of you as in-depth as we can, because that's when we really have fun, is when we really get to dig into a chart or to really pull some cards. So
Right.
all right.
All righty. Thanks.
Have a good night.